115. Welcome to the podcast. We Were Gamers, a podcast about, I think JJ mentioned last week while I wasn't here, people that don't have time to play games, so instead talk about them instead of playing them.
That sounds like us.
I feel that's on brand.
Yeah. Hi, welcome. I'm Andy. I am back from vacation, kind of. It's
well, you're not gonna. You don't want to perpetuate the myth that you were on assignment. I love that.
It felt like an assignment afterwards, man. It's a tough world out there currently, and made more tough by trying to do things safely. I don't want to get too deep into what I feel people did wrong in the world, but none of the people I went out with, it was mostly children, were unsafe. It was the people around us, and I just want to commend you guys while I was gone for taking on the mask issue. I didn't know how we were going to deal with that, but you're right. It's important. I think JJ said it best, to think about one another and do the right thing. Keep each other safe. We always talk about, like, you know, even some of the very small issues that we have talked about on this podcast, which I agree are small, like net neutrality, etc. It's all about looking out for the people next to you. And so thank you guys for doing that, because it was very poignant to my experience having tried to go camping. So I appreciate that. Coming back to that. I listened to the pod. You guys did awesome. It was great.
Cool.
Always good to hear from a fan.
Yeah, it's good to hear from a fan. I love it.
I'm jacked up today, dudes.
Okay.
Uh-oh. What's got you amped?
People tried to steal money from me. And
Wait, no, that's not a good reason to be amped.
This far and no further.
On this of the most American of holidays, stealing. Have you had to deal with credit card fraud? This is our adulting minute for a second.
It was actually, actually, not too long ago. My wife transferred her bank account to a different institution, and then after doing that, shortly, random sums of money started being deducted for no discernible reason from an account that no one had access to.
So yeah, we have a card, a family card that we use for many things, right? Like you got to look out for number one. We talk about on this pod buying things on sale. Michael, I think you bought a game on sale based on a pod last week. But
yes, I did.
Yeah, it's all about looking out for number one. Get those cards that do work for you. Shop with your Amazon card on Amazon. Go to Whole Foods. You know, use that Costco card to get gasoline and shop at Costco. Do what works for you. And so one of the things that works for us is we have like a family card that gives us the most points on random things. So like pay our bills with it, buy contacts with it. Contacts I mentioned specifically because it's the last time I can remember giving my card number to anybody over the phone.
Ooh.
It's a respectable place, I thought. Anyway, it's the place we put it in online. So unless one of those, online places is compromised or something, I don't know. I
mean, it's also possible that, there's a program on one of your computers that's a keylogger, or,
I really doubt it.
Things are possible. It's possible, man.
The only place I've ever entered that card is on a Mac. And I don't even key it in anymore because it's saved in the computer. So
are you the only person using that card, though?
What do you mean? I know the charges on that
card. Other people in your house have access to that card and
yes.
might be using it on PCs.
Yes, they do. But no, they wouldn't. Again.
I'm just presenting possibilities.
I think the possibilities are generally endless. However, giving my card over the phone is the most suspicious of those activities.
Definitely.
Considering the charges line up with giving it over the phone and then all of a sudden, bing, You know what I mean?
Timing is too close to be coincidental.
Yeah, it's pretty shifty.
It's pretty shifty. Anyway, $1,800 and 40 minutes later. What a holiday weekend. Did you guys have fun?
We did kind of the at home stuff.
As you
hung out.
should.
Didn't go too many places. Watched a little movies. I think the Hamilton movie had a big impact.
Okay, raise your hand if you watched Hamilton.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
You would be surprised that my hand is not raised.
I would be surprised. Really?
Yeah, we have not watched it yet. So
I feel like you maybe have seen it more than us in person.
So I have seen it in person twice.
Yeah. Okay.
At the end of last week, though, we finished a show. We finished watching Carnival Row on Amazon. And then for the 4th, we did Drive-In Movies Take 2.
Oh, you went out to drive-in?
Yeah. Yeah,
The same one
we'd gone to before, which actually wound up being great because it's in a relatively flat area. And so throughout the course of the night, as we were watching the 2 movies, there were fireworks going off nearly the whole time.
I have a weird...
There's a really great helicopter shot of fireworks going off across Orange County, played to the Blade Runner soundtrack. That literally looks like that scene from the opening of the movie.
Man, when those chimes kick on, it's like bring, and you're just like, "Yep, this is Blade Runner." Yep,
yeah, it is.
It is.
It's just like it looks like the vents from the industrial buildings,
and it's just like you don't realize until those. I've grown up in this city state that we call Southern California. This endless skyscape of lights. I've flown into it a countless amount of times. I don't remember how many times I've flown in here at night, and like you get used to the fact that like 25 minutes from landing the airplane is just lights, right? It's lights forever.
Yeah.
But until somebody takes the Blade Runner music and there's tons of fireworks going off and puts it all together, do you realize like, oh yeah, we're already there.
It's a different one though, because like that's at a different level than you are on when you come in from a plane, because the plane starts its descent so steeply from so much higher. This is flying at like a low level for a pretty good distance, what would be like a commute's worth of distance, but in 5 minutes because it's a helicopter.
A commute if you were in
way
one of those,
way lower than you would be in a plane. So it just looks so much more real, man. It's a cool shot. People should go out there, and it's on Twitter and the internet, I'm sure.
Maybe
so go check it out.
Maybe if you were just hanging out in a spinner, that's what it would look like.
Dude, maybe.
I want to drive a spinner. Come on, man. Someone out there,
That would be pretty cool.
invent the car. Just invent it already. The DeLorean already proved that you could just fold the wheels down, hover it. All right.
And where's my jetpack while we're at it?
I don't need a jetpack. Is that controversial?
No, I think jetpacks are terrible.
Right?
Yeah,
It seems
they always seem to end poorly.
it's like those flamethrowers, right?
I think people that want jetpacks don't think about the idea of having a rocket strapped to their back very closely and like how hot rockets are.
One of my favorite actual comic strips and like movies is The Rocketeer. But I don't think I would want to be the Rocketeer.
You're not the Rocket Man?
No, I don't think so. Like the wear and tear on your body alone has got to be significant, right?
It's pretty tough to stop a rocket,
Well, and using your head as a rudder. Yeah,
You just end up with a really huge neck. It'd just be like so thick with all the muscles you would need, Once you get up to speed, having to turn or whatever with the wind resistance, it'd be pretty strong. Like to hold it, it'd be tough. I
Yeah.
would think.
I mean, if you were smart about it, you'd immobilize your neck and put some sort of a rudder on the rocket itself.
I just
Or
think
you just turn your arms into wings and then fly like a conventional plane in a normal way.
what I'm saying is I think Cliff Secord is like a superhero and people don't give him enough credit.
He had that gun.
He did have a gun, didn't he?
Yep.
Did he use it really though? I think that giant guy
It's a
knocks it.
PG movie, so not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
PG? Yeah.
It has
PG.
Nazis in it though. Man.
Indiana Jones has Nazis in it.
So does Sound of Music.
So does the Sound of Music.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
watched that this weekend. I was like, really? Wow. I have to explain this. I don't know how.
I mean, they're not portrayed as the good guys.
No, they're not. You're right. Speaking of crimes.
We teased it last week.
Yep. Straight to food crimes, please. Yes?
Yes.
I've been pent up about this for weeks.
Wow.
How many syrups does one person need? Can you think of how many syrups you could possibly need in your house to put on
How
pancakes?
many roads must a man walk down?
Look, you can prove you're a man by knowing whether or not you want your syrup from Vermont or from Canada. Just tell me between those two things.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and show my ignorance up front. I don't know that I would know the difference necessarily.
Okay, fair enough. Syrup comes from a tree.
Yeah, sap.
I feel very strongly to begin with about this. It's not like I didn't grow up eating log cabin, etc. That style of syrup, okay?
Yeah.
I know what it is. I know what the flavor profile is. I've been to plenty of campouts where that's what you eat, and that's the flavor profile. That's fine. Michael, defend IHOP.
So, JJ, to clue you in.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very
when
lost.
was the last time you were at an IHOP? It doesn't
It has
happen
been
recently.
It is very long time ago.
That's
Fine,
the
so
right
That's
answer.
fine. That's fine. So when you sit down at an IHOP, on the edge of the table, there's the little tray that has the 4 different jars of syrup in it.
I was
Right?
Hold
just
on.
going to say,
Hold on.
the
You
last
sit
time I
down
was
at the
there were
table.
4 little individual porry things
Yes,
of syrup. I
exactly.
assume that
Mhm.
wasn't a thing they still did.
Exactly.
No, it's still a
So
thing they do.
They still do it, and they are adding a bottle to that rack.
Oh, so there's a 5th
Except-
one.
Yes, this is going to be maple sweet and spicy syrup.
Huh.
Yeah, is
Now
right.
it should be couched in the fact that the advertisement for this says that they are adding it as part of their new maple chicken breakfast.
Doesn't make it better.
Andrew, let's stop your opinion injections here, man. I want to hear the story about what it is first
Okay.
before I come down with the take.
All right.
All
Look,
right, so
here's this flat.
I'll read you the 2-line.
Here-
I'll read you the 2-line thing.
Here's
about
as flat as it is. Let me try, Michael. And if I don't do it fair justice, IHOP has 5 before this. 5 syrups: boysenberry, strawberry, regular, sugar-free, and what's the last one there, Michael?
I think it's just 4. I think it's strawberry, blueberry,
Strawberry,
original, and then sugar-free butter pecan.
and boysenberry.
They don't
Strawberry.
have boysenberry.
They,
Boysenberry is a Southern California thing. They don't have boysenberry.
I'm almost certain they have boysenberry.
No.
I assume they have boysenberry because you're near Knott's Berry Farm where they have boysenberry thing, and that's the thing.
Bro,
They might at a
have
local
boysen.
IHOP,
They
but-
totally have boysenberry syrup at IHOP.
Nope. Staring at the article about this.
Okay, so what is it? It's maple pecan.
Strawberry, blueberry, butter pecan, and original. And I'm pretty sure that the
And-
butter pecan is the sugar-free one.
Oh, butter pecan is sugar free. I thought they
I
had to
think
ask for
so.
sugar free.
Maybe you ask for.
I think you
sugar-free.
ask for sugar free.
That
And
would
then-
make sense.
Yeah, and then now we're adding sweet and spicy. To be fair, they're adding it as part of a chicken and whatever breakfast. Okay, that's the facts. None of those are made with syrup, right?
But yeah, I mean, like IHOP syrup is inherently not like you're getting it from a tree, like Vermont maple syrup or whatever, that come in those little jugs that are
So
like
good.
fancy syrup,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's not that. Like IHOP makes too much syrup to serve you that kind of syrup. Your pancakes would cost $15 a pancake.
Maybe your pancakes should cost $15 a pancake.
Okay, don't go to IHOP.
Maybe they should taste better
I've
than
solved your
IHOP
problem for you.
pancakes.
I've solved your problem for you, Andrew. Don't go to IHOP.
I know.
Yeah, I think you're getting at the heart of the issue there,
Don't go
JJ,
to
which is
IHOP.
not that. Yeah, it's not your issue is that IHOP doesn't serve real syrup, not with sweet and spicy syrup as a concept.
Okay, I tried an IHOP pancake within the last 6 months. It's not good.
Wheat. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, look, the quality of the IHOP pancake was never amazing. The reason you went there is because you could get a lot of food for cheap. Like the same reason you would go to a Denny's, right? Like they have a lot of things. No one can complain about going here because they serve 50 different versions of the things.
Okay, but hold on. It's part of adding chicken. But they didn't even just add the chicken in a good way. It's like some kind of flattened chicken fried steak thing. And it doesn't
common breakfast.
It doesn't come on a waffle or near a waffle or on the pancakes. The press photo of it shows it on hash browns with their sweet and spicy syrup. Put regular maple syrup on it, and if you really need it spicy, go grab some Louisiana Hot.
I'm not going to argue with that because I think if I was eating a chicken fried steak, as opposed to like a piece of fried chicken.
A chicken fried steak should have gravy on it and then hot sauce.
That's the real answer, right? If you're having a chicken fried steak, you should be putting gravy on it.
But a chicken and waffle.
If I'm having a piece of chicken, chicken and waffle, I'm just going to use regular maple syrup. They got it right there.
Exactly.
You don't have to use the new one.
Thank you very much.
But JJ,
but I'm not going to not try it now.
No, you're not. You're not going to not try it. You're not going to try it.
Have it.
No, you're not.
No, I'm going to try.
Why are you going to IHOP to try this? It doesn't even have bones in it. It's chicken. It's supposed to have a bone in it, and it's supposed to be on a waffle.
Look, they're not promising me Roscoe's here.
This is disgusting.
Look, Andrew, I'm not being promised Roscoe's.
All about it is disgusting. I'm not taking other answers.
Wow.
So, JJ, I know for a fact that you have had this dish elsewhere because you and I have both had the equivalent at Golden Road. They do a chicken and waffles that has a chipotle maple syrup, and it is delicious.
Yeah, that sounds all right. Like, again,
but is it on a waffle?
Yeah.
Is it a real piece of chicken?
Yes, I think.
Does it have bones in it?
That I don't remember.
But okay, fine. Maybe it doesn't have bones. Is it a chicken breast?
It's either a breast or a chicken thigh.
Okay. What they did there is take the correct meal and put a twist on it by adding chipotles. They didn't bastardize the meal and then also bastardize the syrup and everything else that goes with it.
You use the weird syrup. You just use the normal syrup. It's right there. Put the strawberry on it.
No, oh my god. Oh my god. Don't ever use the strawberry syrup.
I like the strawberry syrup. Hold on, man.
You don't like the strawberry syrup. If you're going to put strawberries on your pancakes, ask for strawberries. They have them. And then put maple syrup on it.
I mean, there probably were strawberries on my pancakes because I probably ordered the one with the fruit on top of it because I like that.
Everything about IHOP is criminal.
Bro, just because you're used to like artisanal breakfast that you make for yourself or whatever, you can't expect everyone to live up to your like bougie standards of breakfast, man. Sometimes people are poor and need cheap pancakes. Are you calling a
Roscoe's breakfast bougie? I'm literally saying don't take a Roscoe's breakfast and do this to it.
Obviously, no, of course not. But what you're not getting Roscoe's at IHOP. Roscoe's is like a very small thing. There's not a lot of them. And you are lucky that you live in a place that is somewhat near them.
I should go get Roscoe's tomorrow.
There are large swaths of the country where no one can have any Roscoe's chicken and waffles, which is a sad crime.
In this syrup, yes, everyone should have access to a Roscoe's. I think many problems.
Chicken in every pot. Look, a Roscoe's on every street corner. This is my campaign platform now.
Roscoe's has moved to doing frozen chicken and frozen waffles, so you can get it in more places now. It's not the same, but
you know what? I'll take almost the same. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at this after this podcast.
Look, it's called Kickin' Maple Chicken Breakfast, JJ.
It's Denny's. That sounds like a Denny's menu.
It does, doesn't it?
IHOP does that too.
That's why I'm not surprised. It sounds like a Denny's thing, so of course they would.
They don't even do something like, and by the way, it's just Chipotle's or this and that. They go with like ancho and jalapeno and red chili pepper flake. They can't even get one chili in there. Ugh. This is a food crime. Just looking at this picture makes me ill. This picture that comes with this stuff. First of all, the syrup containers are criminal. And the second thing.
Wait, hold on. You're just mad at the container they hold the syrup in?
Look, if you can't afford to use the old school metal containers, you don't deserve to be pouring syrup on a table.
Okay, I don't. What are the containers now? They're not the little ones with a little handle that slides open and it pours.
Yes, it is, but they did it with plastic instead.
Oh yeah, I mean cheaper. So
no,
whatever,
yeah, cheaper, but come on, you had the metal ones.
Yeah, 20 years ago when you could buy the metal ones and they weren't $1 billion.
Everyone, look,
capitalism. You're welcome.
Also,
there's plenty.
Not like. It's not like IHOP is rolling in cash.
Name your Waffle House. All right, name your Waffle House. I'm going with Flappy Jack's.
Place I've literally never heard of.
Okay, fine. Original Pancake House.
Is that a national chain?
I don't know. It's a California chain, probably.
I'm gonna go with Waffle House.
Okay, yeah, fine. The Waffle House wouldn't do this.
I mean, you're probably right because it's probably too hard for their logistics system to handle chicken also.
Original Pancake House was founded in Oregon, so no, they're a national chain, not a California chain.
Can I go with Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, sure.
Is that close enough?
Cracker Barrel also wouldn't do this.
I mean, but Cracker Barrel probably serves a chicken fried steak, right?
They sure do. Absolutely. And they probably also serve some sort of Milanese chicken like this is. But it doesn't look like... I can't copy and paste this stupid image for some reason.
I sent you the link, JJ.
Okay, I'll look at it. I really don't care enough to possibly be worked up over this.
I care a lot.
Clearly, we can hear. It's very obvious.
I care a lot.
This looks generic.
It's terrible looking. That's what I mean. It's so generic it looks terrible. Look at this.
I don't know. I can't be worked up over this picture. It's just nothing.
What happened to that syrup? Why does it look like that?
Because this is a staged photo, bro.
Oh god, it's so bad.
This is probably like that glue syrup that they use in like staged photos.
Yes.
Which is why it's running all weird.
It absolutely is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to look up a Waffle House menu on this podcast, but I think that counts as research.
That counts as research for sure.
Okay.
Look, Waffle House wouldn't serve that.
Waffle House wouldn't do this to you.
No, they wouldn't, because they would give you the real thing that you want, which is that and gravy and like a side of grits or something.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that piece of chicken and tell me you don't want gravy on top of that.
I mean, I do, but I don't want... Anyway, look, that looks bad. You're right.
It looks terrible.
It's fine.
It's not fine. You can't say it looks bad and then say it looks fine, JJ. Take a stand.
No. I can say it looks bad. It's fine that it's bad. It's okay.
This is criminal. This is criminal food.
Criminal. This is like getting mad about Denny's adding a new item to their menu.
No,
of course they're going to do something dumb like this. Of course they are.
Denny's has gotten so expansive that at this point, if they added horse meat to their menu, you wouldn't care.
You wouldn't know. They wouldn't call it horse meat.
Exactly.
You'd probably just think it was like
it also wouldn't make the news. Denny's serving horse meat now. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, IHOP is not that far removed from a Denny's, so why are you mad about it?
I guess maybe this proves that
some
IHOP...
way higher standard? Like, no, they're the same. The difference is IHOP has less options, so why would you go there? I guess you go there because you want that strawberry or the blueberry syrup, maybe you should just go to Denny's.
Yeah, maybe I'm just upset because this puts them into the criminal category completely. Like IHOP was hanging by a thread.
I feel like you must have some like real childhood trauma associated with an IHOP or something, dude. Because like this is an extreme reaction to a relatively bad looking but mostly inoffensive breakfast menu item. I'm sorry to be laughing at your pain, but man,
you should laugh. You should laugh.
It's a lot, man.
Look at that meal.
The name is really dumb.
Yes, it's.
But just like
the name alone falls into the food crimes category.
It's dumb in the same way that menu items on Denny's menus are dumb. It is the Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity level of dumb.
This is like we need to save our chain, and flattened chicken with nasty syrup on it is going to do it.
I don't know. I mean, I like spicy stuff sometimes.
I love spicy stuff
okay.
too. I would even say it's fine to eat a chicken and waffle from Roscoe's with syrup on it, and you go get hot sauce. That's not a food crime. That's how you should eat it.
I mean, I think people would encourage that. I think putting a little hot sauce on that chicken would probably be good.
Yeah.
It is good.
It is good. I've done it.
That's what I'm saying.
This is not that.
Yeah, but it's not trying to be that.
Then what is it?
Because
This is a Grand Slam equivalent.
This is not a Grand Slam.
The bandwagon of the hot honey trend that is very much a fad right now.
Yeah, hot honey is bad.
See? Okay, you can't say hot honey is bad and then not chime in that this is bad.
I mean, I can. I told you this is bad.
Okay.
I think it's not worth getting worked up over, though. It's like bad, and that's okay.
How can I not get worked up in the food crime section?
I think that you are
you just
Stephen
upset.
A. Smithing / Skip Baylessing this.
You should be happy that I didn't come after your peanut butter like this.
I mean, look, if you wanted to take that hard of a stand on peanut butter,
I love peanut butter.
I'm
just saying you shouldn't fill your waffle with peanut butter.
Delicious.
All right, Michael, did you want to try and save IHOP, or did we go too hard?
Nah, I'm good.
Michael, the peacemaker, just pieces out of this.
You gotta pick your battles sometimes, and
Don't
this
take
is
us
the hill that Andy has chosen to die on.
This is
look,
the
Andrew,
hill. This is the hill of victory. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tell you this, it's not making me go into an IHOP here, and I haven't been to an IHOP in 10 years, maybe or more. So they're still losing my business. It's not like they're gaining my business because of this.
I am literally willing to Sherman's march to the sea on this. There's no chance that I would leave an IHOP standing.
A solitary protester burned down 4 IHOPs today.
No, because
before police were able to corner him,
he would have had Waffle Houses.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would have just gone down the road and found a better breakfast place, and then just not had to go to any IHOPs.
I've only eaten at Waffle House once, and I really feel like I really am missing out on a lot.
I've only been there a handful of times, and it was good to okay every time. So.
And I'm not against chain breakfast. I was not impressed by my one trip to a Cracker Barrel, but I feel like I was left to my own devices at 4:30 in the morning at a Cracker Barrel with no one that had ever been to a Cracker Barrel. You know what I mean? So I don't hold that against Cracker Barrel, right?
Yeah. The hangover food that you need is different from it was normal breakfast.
Is it a hangover if you just got off a plane? I don't know.
Kinda.
Okay. I got off a plane and I just wanted eggs.
I know that feel.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm very excited to continue derailing this podcast, and let's talk about units of measurements, you guys.
Okay.
Andrew, you might have to get that bleep button ready, depending on how you feel about me using the word "but" as a unit of measurement.
I've responded to this tweet already.
I saw it. I think it's great. I'm so excited to learn today that "but" B-U-T-T is a unit of measurement.
It's not. You have to. It's one word. You can't. It's not just a but.
It's the unit. The but.
The unit is a but? I thought the unit included the word load.
From Wikipedia, the but was a measure of liquid volume equaling 2 hogsheads, being between 450 and 1,060 liters by various historical definitions. The equivalent is approximately 108 imperial gallons, 130 US gallons, 491 liters for ale, or 126 imperial gallons, which is 151 US, or 573 liters for wine.
How many pints
when you have
is 130 gallons?
Wine,
Siri, how many pints is 130 gallons?
1,040 pints.
1,040 pints. I don't think that I've drank 1,040 pints of beer in my life yet.
No, doubtful.
So I have yet to drink a buttload of beer.
And the wine is more, so it's unlikely that you have drinking a buttload of wine either.
I don't think that means I've drank a buttload of anything except for water.
And maybe if you
Probably.
like sum up all the liquid together you got there.
Maybe. Yeah.
A buttload of liquid total in your life.
I love it. I'm not bleeping any
Anyway.
butts.
I love that's a real thing.
I love it.
Thank you, internet. This was a useful thing you did. For
I
society.
feel really refreshed after this food crimes time. I really do.
Palate cleanser.
I'm cleansed. It might have had something to do with $1,800 in credit card fraud. Hey, speaking of fraud, is Baba Is You a fraud? Because basically, you guys last week, I keyed in on the Baba conversation, and I know Michael has fallen down the rabbit hole.
I have gone hurtling down the rabbit hole.
One of the fears I have, and I
Is
stared.
Baba a rabbit?
Look, no,
I think
Baba,
it's a sheep.
Baba is sheep.
Is it?
Baba is sheep. Yes.
I mean, Baba is Baba. That's the thing I
Baba
know.
is canonically Baba is sheep.
Okay.
I stared at Baba Is You in my Steam sale list, and I want to make sure it's not a
Andrew, I'm just going to tell
crime.
you before you buy it.
Uh-huh.
If you bought one of those bundles recently, you probably already own this.
Oh, okay. I didn't even look at the bundles. I just gave the money away. I was like, here, enjoy because you need
So
it.
you should look at those since they have a lot of free games, which you now own.
Okay, so I have Baba in one of those bundles that I gave away money on.
Yes.
Okay.
So
The money
my
was
point
given
is-
as
yes, of course.
as giving the money. It wasn't about the games.
Yeah, the games were free.
Sure.
So my point is that
Can I close
Baba
this
could,
window
could
with the
be you.
I need to close this window with the dumb food. Okay.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just close it.
Okay.
Michael,
s-
we, my wife and I are playing this together, and it has a remarkable ability to make you feel real dumb after like 3 or 4 levels. In like one sitting, we're like working on a puzzle, we like get it, yay, we feel so smart. We move to the next one or the next one after that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm just unable to think like a human anymore. Now nothing makes any sense. I'm completely stuck and I feel like a moron.
Yeah, there are definitely times when you have to, like, you'll try a few things and nothing will seem to work, and you just, at least for me, I have to stop and sort of take stock of, like, what do I have? What are possible combinations that I could put these together in? Like, is there any way I have found a lot of puzzles can be solved by, is there any way that I can reach the text that I have to text that is beyond where I can go, but I can push the words up there?
The stuff I have a lot of trouble with, or I mean, at least so far, we're not, that far in. There is a bunch of places where you have to like position yourself so that when you move, something else moves, and that it moves the thing at the right time to move the thing into the place, make a thing happen so that you can do something else.
Yeah, so
I'm extremely bad at these.
So I think that what makes that a lot more forgiving is that one of the buttons, Andy, is just hotkeyed to rewind.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It rewinds things back exactly one square of movement.
So important.
Anything on the map that has moved, you can tap the rewind button and it moves back one square. So
Question.
if you're trying to line up two things moving together and you're off a little bit, you can rewind.
Okay, so games that have rewinds, I go straight to braid, and sometimes the rewind is a part of the puzzle solution. Is that true with Baba?
No,
I haven't seen one that involves that yet.
I
so
have not
I don't
found one
think so.
either, but I don't think that
Okay.
there's, because everything backs up.
So it's just
right?
a soul undo. Got it. Okay.
Including
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And you can rewind no matter how far you've gotten, or at least as far as I've been able to see, all the way back to the beginning of the puzzle every
Yes,
time.
you can go all the way back to the beginning of the puzzle. The other thing, Andy, and this does kind of get at a twist on what you were asking about, is you can. So there are little squares of text on the screen that you can manipulate. They're little, Baba Is You is how it starts, and each one of those squares you can move. But if you break that sentence, Baba is you, you're stuck.
Uh-huh.
You can either restart the level or you can back it up so that the sentence is completed again. But unless something is you in text, you can't move. Something always has to be you.
You have no input into the game once something is not you.
Almost.
Hmm.
So what the other thing is, in addition to a button that's hotkeyed to rewind, there is a button that is hotkeyed to make things move. And things can move on their own, even if nothing on the screen is you.
They would need to be text on the screen that allows them to move, though.
Right. So there will be something like key is move. And every time either you move or you stand still and hit the move button, the key will move across the screen, either up and down or left to right.
Okay.
And so that mechanic you can use to help yourself out. So break the sentence that makes anything you, but still have things on the screen moving around and doing things.
What causes them to move if you haven't a sentence that makes them anything?
One of the commands is a little square that says move. And so anything that is move will move in one direction across the screen.
And how many moves do you get? So like key is move, or
As many as you're holding down the button.
It will go back. When it reaches one end, it'll turn around and go back the other way. So it'll just strafe left and right, or it'll strafe up and down infinitely.
But do you only get one is move?
Depends on what's available in the puzzle.
Okay.
So like if they have 5 move squares out there, potentially.
So you could
a bunch of things
you could
moving.
not be you and just let things move for a while if you had multiple move.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you could do it with one move if you were clever.
Sure.
If you have two
sure.
is
Wall is move. Baba is you.
right.
Sure.
And you can put those in a cross pattern, right? Using the same is.
Right.
So the text doesn't have to read left to right. It can read top to bottom.
Same thing.
Right, but not it can read left to right, but it can't read right to left, and it can't read bottom to top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
And the
It's a little bit of a. I wonder if they localized that.
Yeah, great question. I wonder how it works
Right, because
in other languages.
in different languages you read different directions. So
yes, and sentence structure works differently too.
yeah,
Which is key to this game. Like
yeah,
how you
like,
set up.
how do you do this game in German?
English sentences are a key feature of how the game works. So I wonder like if you even could localize it like that. If they would just have to learn, the game language, quote unquote.
Change is to equals. That's universal, right?
You could do that. I think that would always work.
Yeah.
Given the way
it makes less sense when you start talking about like and has and stuff, but it still makes
Plus
sense.
and
yeah. Have you gotten to has then, JJ?
Yes.
Has might still be my favorite just because of the incepting that it allows you to do.
Give me a has.
Real.
Give me a has. I need a has.
So you can say wall has key,
Okay.
and that means that if you find a way to destroy a section of wall, it will reveal a key.
So can you do wall has key and flag and just win?
Maybe, but it depends. Like if it has 2 things, they're going to drop on top of each other. And so depending on how the things are set up, you may not be able to move the flag, or you may not be able to touch the flag if a key is on top of it. Or maybe you need the key for something else and the flag doesn't help you. But you could do crazy stuff like rock has rock. And so then you destroy the rock and it has another rock. You just have infinite rocks or infinite boxes or a billion walls or something.
Is my personal favorite.
What was your favorite? I missed it.
Baba has Baba.
Uh-oh.
And there are just infinite copies of you become indestructible, basically.
Great.
Pretty wonderful.
But yeah, and it also depends on what the win condition is, right? Because there's always a condition something is win, and it's not always the flag.
Yeah, there are definitely ones where weird stuff is win, or in some cases there is no win condition and you have to build one.
Yeah.
I
So, like,
assume
they give
Baba
you, like,
is
a bunch
win
of-
is not very often.
You could do. I have won quite a few puzzles with Baba is win.
Yes, there are some puzzles that is the way that you're supposed to win them.
Yeah, you make Baba is you and Baba is win, and the puzzle is over. Great one. I solved it.
Yeah, those are fun. Not gets interesting, especially when there are multiple knots on the screen.
So can you do not?
Yes, you can.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm not looking forward to this.
And you can also do. I've had at least one puzzle with the structure not fence is not wall.
Double negatives.
So you made a fence into a wall by doing that?
Yeah, I assume that's how that would work if this was English.
Yeah.
Huh.
No.
Wait,
It's-
not
it-
fence is not wall.
Anything that is not a fence is not a wall.
Anything.
there are-
So basically, the walls disappear because they're not fences.
Oh, that's like a way bigger. Okay, so there's like anything not a fence is not a wall.
Right.
So that means
Oh my
that
God.
anything now except fences
Is not wall.
is not a walls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could walk through anything that isn't a fence.
What is fence versus wall?
it's just the image on the screen.
The same priority in terms of
It
can't be
depends
passed,
on-
can't be.
It depends. There has to be a fence is stop or wall is stop.
There is no intrinsic property of anything on the screen unless there is text telling you that it exists.
And text.
You can walk through walls unless there is something in text on the screen telling you wall is
Text
stop.
doesn't have to be in the text box at the top. It can be other places.
Oh, it can be anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see them all over the field.
Can you? This is one of the questions I got from your podcast. Can you assault the text? So like or whatever, like key, or what was one of the examples you guys used? Wall is stop, right?
Yeah.
And then walls are walling in, wall is stop.
In fact, there's a lot of puzzles built with like a bunch of text surrounded by. It's like the text wall is stop,
Is that
and something is win, and Baba is Baba.
And they're all
is
walled in all
surrounded
the
by
time.
walls,
Right, yeah.
so that you can never change.
right?
them.
Right. So okay. So that was my question. So like, is sometimes the puzzle figuring out how to assault those questions, or is it always just like, no, it's walled in, don't worry about it, that means you can't touch it?
I mean, nothing is impossible, but it depends on what pieces you're
I
given, right?
I can give a little bit of that away if you want, JJ.
I mean, are you giving me a solution to a puzzle? I don't want.
No. I won't give you a solution to a puzzle, but I will tell you that one of the conditions that they introduce a little bit later is weak. Weak define anything that is weak. If you push it up against something that won't move and then push it again, it gets destroyed.
Oh, okay. I've seen this. I had
Yeah.
to do this with like a box or something. I think.
Yeah,
I feel
so
like there was a puzzle
there's a
about that.
situation where you could say, Andy, wall is push and wall is weak, and if you push the wall into something, it'll get destroyed.
Okay.
So yes, there is a conceivable situation with the mechanics that they've put in place where you can you
access
have
sentences,
to unbox something
Okay.
from being
and then
fenced in.
once they're unboxed, you can just manipulate them like any other sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have a piece of text, you can do anything with it.
Okay.
You know, assuming you have the ability to move that text.
Yeah, as long as it's not like stuck in
And
a
since-
corner.
You know, so like, but since you can only push, there's really, once something gets in a corner, it's kind of stuck there forever. It's really hard to get it out.
You can only push.
Yeah, I can only push. That's right.
You haven't gotten far enough.
So the
I feel like that was a
anything
really
is
hold on. I feel like that was a super diss that none of us got.
No, it wasn't. I'm
No.
just saying that that is something else that they change later on.
it's a case where like, yes, the game allows you to do these things, but maybe not when you're starting off, right? Like you're not going to see has when you do your first few levels. You're not going to see, if something is walled off in like the first levels that you play, don't try to change it. You're just going to be wasting your time. Like try something else,
Yeah. So one thing that I will say, JJ, and you've probably noticed this too, is that it is also super important to learn the order in which the system processes things.
Yes.
Right. So when you have a bunch of sentences completed on the screen, Andy, it completes the sentences when you move to trigger a condition in a particular order.
Can you determine that order by moving them around the screen?
Yes, you can. You can determine the order, and I don't know, it shows you all of the active conditions when you pause it, and I don't know if the order that it shows them to you in is the order that it processes them. I haven't actually played around with that, but there are times when you need to know, like, if I move this thing onto this tile that's going to destroy it, it's going to get destroyed and then it's going to move, as opposed to the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Because that order of operations is important sometimes.
Right.
And then whether you can, then reorder it or rebuild the sentence somewhere else depends on how many little verbs and other little things they give you, right? Like if there's only a couple is blocks, you're going to be pretty limited on how you can construct a bunch of sentences when you need both of those ises to be attached to one other thing, for instance. So it's just the various puzzles will kind of determine some of that framework, but it's super cool and it is mind bending. So you will solve one of these puzzles, I guarantee it. After some point, you'll have sat there and stared at it for like 10 minutes and just been like, I have no idea what to do. And you're just going to try something and it's going to work and you're going to feel like a genius.
I feel like this is
I
one of
am the
those...
smartest man alive.
Yeah, it definitely rewards experimentation, and it is great at making you feel accomplished when you have worked out a rather convoluted or out of the ordinary solution.
I think one of the coolest things about it is that it's such an indie game that it doesn't have the connotation or the, I don't know, the idea that maybe like you need to look up a guide or whatever because you need to finish it because everyone else has finished it because it's a Zelda game or whatever. Like, this is an indie game. It's called Baba Is You. It's just a puzzle to try and figure out your own brain. There's no desire in me already listening to it to be like, oh, if I have trouble, I'm going to look up a guide. No. This seems
it would
like,
rob you of the whole experience.
right, like the experience of this
there's
game.
literally nothing else.
Move on to another level.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we have actually taken to doing when we get, because eventually you're going to stare at a puzzle for so long and just be like, I have no idea what to do here.
So
it's like, I'm just completely lost. And then you just back out and you go to a different one. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but I see what to do here. And then move this block around and play with this. And then, find a.
But it's amazing to me. I haven't even played it. And I can already tell now that when I do play it, I won't have any desire to be like, I can't figure this out. I need to look something up. It'll always be one of those games. It's like, the point of this is to figure it out. And I think that's kind of unique currently in the gaming landscape that,
it is a case where there isn't a story here.
right.
There's just no story. It's just like, this is just a game with a bunch of levels.
Look,
and
the story
puzzles.
is Baba Is You.
Yeah, exactly. You heard it at the title. That's the whole story. And maybe it's not you because like sometimes you are not Baba. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Yep. There are some levels without Baba at all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, man. I've been Kiki.
How can there be a
I don't know
level
what
without
Kiki is.
Baba?
Have you been me yet?
Can you be me as you?
Yes, you can.
No, you can't be me as you. That's not right.
Uh-huh.
That's not right. You can't do that.
You got to play the game to find out.
You can't be me as you.
Well, I've been Kiki. I know about Kiki.
Yep.
I've been Robot.
Okay.
I've also been.
We've heard Kiki and Robot. Kiki and Robot are definitely like chicken fried steak. Me as you is the Roscoe's of this situation.
It's delicious and everyone should want it.
I want to understand it. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
You got to play the game.
I gotta have it more times to understand it.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So one of the nice things too is that there is, I guess, as far as I'm aware, there is a sort of last level, and it's accessible actually pretty early.
Why would they make
I
the last
also-
level accessible early?
Because you can go there and do it if you want.
Okay.
The thing I like is that when you go into a world or whatever, and there's like a bunch of little sub individual levels, you don't need to complete even close to all of them in each world before moving on.
Oh no, there's a
Like,
count in the corner.
It will unlock the next world when you've done half sometimes or less, it feels like.
Huh.
And so if you want to go on to like world 2 and you've done like 5 puzzles in world 1, you can just do it. It's fine.
Yep.
There's like 15 puzzles or more even in world 2. You do like 8 and you're done. Just move on. And at least so far, it hasn't been a ton of reusing. You will reuse stuff from the first world mostly because it's really like the foundations of the game mostly. But so far, a lot of the stuff I saw, like in the lake world, for instance, didn't carry over too directly into the island or wherever the third one is.
Yeah, each world seems to introduce some new concepts, and it likes to lean on those concepts rather than necessarily throwing everything you've seen at you.
So whichever world I'm in now where we're using the has, I haven't seen a has anywhere else thus far. And at least if their pattern holds, there's not going to be a ton of hases elsewhere, going forward beyond this. So if you really just like don't understand one set of puzzles or whatever, at least it seems, there's multiple branches on some of these places in the world. You could just like go to a different place and do those puzzles instead.
That works.
So it's very cool. And just like, I think the game is like 70 megabytes or something.
Yeah, 80. I think my install was like 80.
I mean, if the graphics
Download
are what
in
they
10
are, you know what I mean?
seconds.
Yep. And it also it has cloud save, so you can put it on multiple machines
Nice.
and just pick up where you left off,
Nice.
which I have been doing.
That's so good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like one other small thing. Each level has a title, and the titles in some cases are very subtle hints as to what you might need to do. Sometimes they're not, but every once in a while, and I think it's on ones that might be a little bit harder, there's a subtle hint depending on how you interpret the title of the level. That might help.
I've also seen some levels that are like, hey, this is the level you did, except we prevented the solution you just used.
Yes, those are good.
And they're like,
There's one
oh,
where they do that. There's one where they do that like 3 times in a row. 3 or 4 levels in a row are all exactly the same, and they just like take a word out each time.
and you're just like, but I needed that. What do I do? This one, I used that. We are super stuck on one of those. And it was like, we solved it the first way. And it was all right. It took us a while staring at it to figure out, okay, like this is what we do. We made a thing. You use the word, get across, blah, blah, blah. All right, great. And then you do it again. And then they're like, yeah, that thing you used to build the word. No. That's not a piece you can use anymore. And so then we're like, well, wait a minute. What can you even do here? I don't know. And we solved that one. And then the third one, at least so far, is like that again. And then they took that piece away now. And we're like, well, no, how can you even play?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it's the same one because I've run into that a couple of times, but there was one of them where they did that, and the last time the solution was something completely broken compared to the first 2 times.
I believe it, man. This one is like there's a lake, and the word "win" is in the middle of the lake. And I've solved it 2 other ways.
Is there a
and
sword?
I have no clue.
Are you some sort of mythical king? Is Baba mythical king?
There is no lady in the lake, Andy.
Is Baba mythical king? No?
No, it's just "win" is in the lake, not sword.
Fine. Well, sword could be win.
We could.
Hold on,
if there
time
was
out.
a sword, but there isn't.
I don't like the implications of sword as win, so we got to move on.
Well, yeah, because sword is lake. So. Right.
Okay.
Anyway.
Michael said that game has no story, so to speak, and I am now convinced that Smash has no story.
You thought it did?
Well,
That sounds right to me.
It had a story mode, but it's no story. I didn't have much time, but I did play the new Smash Fighter over the weekend, which is from ARMS.
Min.
Min. Yes. She seems really good. That game has no story.
Sounds about right.
I lie. That game does have a lot of story, but it's not in the game.
Would you say that the story of Smash is like Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of story there, but it doesn't matter?
I would say the story of Smash is Kingdom Hearts and also Me Too or something. There's a lot going on in the Smash community. I didn't know this until I texted Ryan that, hey, I liked that new Min fighter. He said, too bad Smash is dead. It kind of aligns with the end of EVO, apparently, or at least EVO Online here.
Yeah, EVO Online was canceled. The former CEO of EVO had some
Troubling past.
and
yeah,
things come to light, and EVO immediately turned around and fired him. And then the event was canceled after essentially like every game they were planning to play was like, we don't want to be associated with this anymore. And so the event is not happening this year.
Yep.
So we might do a little bit more on that when Brian and I get together to do a Pokemon podcast. I don't have the full lowdown on what's going on with Smash other than that Min fighter seems good. What's amazing to me is that they keep adding to that game. That's the first of 6 new fighters. When did that game come out? 2 years ago now? A year and a half? A year and a half, $50 plus 2 fighter passes. Personally, I don't know.
I don't mean to blow your mind, but fighting games have been receiving good after launch support for a long time.
Smash isn't a fighting game.
You're right about that. That's true. It's a party game. Street Fighter V is still getting new characters, and that came out like when the PS4 launched, which is insane.
I don't think I would enjoy Street Fighter V at all.
No, you wouldn't. I'm
Right.
just pointing out that like this is within the realm of a thing that would happen for a game.
Smash
like
has never been like this. Nintendo games have never been like this.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, DLC is a thing. Releasing it.
Okay. Literally listen to your sentence and what I said. Nintendo games have never been like this.
Yeah, they're realizing they've been leaving money on the table all these years. They could have been selling extra fighters to all these people that want to play Smash.
Yeah, but I think it's a good value for its cost. Michael might have another opinion. Michael, what should games cost?
Yeah. So we've talked about this in the past. There is a whole new generation of hardware that will be dropping on us very soon. And
Dropping on us or just dropping on people?
us in the larger sense.
The world.
Okay.
Communal us.
People other than us will buy these consoles.
Yes.
Got it.
And the consoles are souped up, of course, versus the previous generation, because that's how you win the console wars.
Sure are.
And that souping up costs money.
No.
And not just that, but to be able to make games that take full advantage of all of that high-end hardware also costs money.
You're talking about.
So the logical conclusion is that something has to give, right? At some point, I think what we've talked about is that video game manufacturers are going to have to look at increasing their prices.
You know, I before you start your story, because I'm sure it answers this question, right? I feel like something's got to give, and it's never the fact that they spend too much money making these games. Grand Theft Auto 7 is going to cost $500 million, if not more dollars, right? Because it's going to have 175 hours of content and voice acted lines. And really, maybe somebody along the chain should be like, maybe it should cost less than this to make.
I think you don't understand the scale of the problems here, Andrew.
Whoa.
The saying that the reason why Grand Theft Auto 7 or whatever is going to cost $500 million is not because there's a bunch of voice acted lines and a campaign that lasts 20 hours that looks like a movie or whatever. It's because they had to build an infrastructure to create Grand Theft Auto Online 6 or whatever, so that they could charge you $5 every time you want to buy a new shark card with 800,000 GTA bucks on it, so that you can buy a rocket launcher that looks different and has 7 new cars that they released, and then a bunch of like missions where you go rob banks or whatever.
So you're saying
They're creating an MMO there is what they're doing, and that's why that game is expensive. And the reason they have to do that is because to create games at that level of fidelity is too expensive for the cost of any $60 product. It's just not sustainable. No matter how many $60 products you sell, you can't afford to create games that look like that. It's just not possible.
To wit, the $60 dam has been broken.
this is where I thought we were going.
Mm-hmm.
NBA 2K21 is the first game to have announced officially that it will be priced at $69.99.
Who cares?
Now, I saw this and I found this interesting. Did you guys remember that it was as recently as 2005, 2006 that video games went from $49.99 to $59.99?
I knew it was
Yes, I did.
Yeah, sometime after high school.
Yeah. So I remembered this, right? Because this was right around the time, like just shortly after World of Warcraft came out, that the price migrated up $10. And it was, everyone was like, why would you pay $10 more? What the heck? But it turns out the reason why is because the games were cooler and had more stuff in them or whatever.
I absolutely believe when the price went up from 50 to 60, they made their case. They absolutely made their case. And frankly, a game like Fallen Order makes their case for making a $70 game. Right?
Sure.
I don't know that I need a $70 game. I played,
and here's the secret: you don't.
Right. So that's
because
the thing, right?
As we advocate on this podcast, never pay full price for a video game.
Absolutely. I didn't pay $60. I didn't pay $70. I paid $28 for Fallen Order with tax. But my point,
you know, you will be able to in 4 years play that $70 game for $15.
right?
Yep. Or Andy keeps his Game Pass.
Yeah, buddy, get Game
And
Pass.
It works like it essentially is it's inflation proof, or that the price does increase, but not at the same rate as if you were to be buying games individually, and they all had a price increase.
Look, make Microsoft take that hit. Don't you take that hit?
Totally.
Right?
Totally. I think it's a super interesting idea, and like also I want to point out that like the fact that NBA 2K is doing this, a game which was already super rotten with microtransactions, is just like them going like, what if we just turn this dial up a little more and keep all these other microtransactions in the game, because you know they're still going to do that. It's not like they're like, oh, look, we've removed all the microtransactions by charging you $10 more. Guys, congratulations.
Yep.
That's not how it's going to work, man.
You're right. You're so
So,
right.
you know, it's like, who is actually making the money here? Is it the people that are being worked too hard to make these games and like all that? No, So, you know, I don't, you know, I am skeptical here that this is going to change anything.
The other thing about
it's too
NBA
expensive to make video games problem.
NBA 2K21 is not a different engine than NBA 2K20.
Oh, who knows? But like also,
No, you know it's not.
fundamental. Well, you don't know. What if this is the one that's designed for the PS5
It's
and
not,
therefore
though,
requires them
because
to move to
they haven't
Unreal
had enough
7
time.
or whatever?
They haven't had enough time.
You probably don't know how long this has been in development, man. What if it's been in development for 4 years? You don't know.
Okay.
But my point is that like it doesn't matter though. Like they're not, once they got a taste of that sweet microtransaction money, they're not giving it back to you out of the kindness of their hearts.
No, only if the EU says they have to.
Yeah, even then probably not, right? Like they're just going to find different ways to do it. So, yeah, like again, I'm super skeptical that this is going to actually solve the problem of video games are super expensive to make.
Were any other games in that article you found, Michael?
I have not seen anybody else make an official announcement. So the article was published right after 2K21 dropped their news.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that they will not be alone.
I really feel like we've gotten to the point, and I made a bad version of this point earlier with the Grand Theft Auto, but like having played Fallen Order, I very much enjoyed that game. That game was 10 hours too long.
Sure.
And 10 hours of game development is a lot of money. 10 hours of
Yeah,
playable game is a lot of money.
I think the crazier thing is that even shorter games than that cost more, right?
Sure.
You know, if you're thinking about them purely from like a single player kind of situation,
Sure.
you know, and most of these games are not thought of that way, right? It's
Right.
like Fallen Order was an exception because it really didn't have a multiplayer thing, which it should be commended, and maybe that's why it should cost $70.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fall Carbon Scoring 1 and 2. Speaking of sub pods, will prove to you, I think Carbon Scoring 2 more than Carbon Scoring 1, because between Carbon Scoring 1, which is our sub podcast, by the way, you can find it on YouTube as of today, that you listen to this. Carbon Scoring 1, I played that game and I was like very happy with it. Carbon Scoring 2, I finished Clone Wars in between that and Carbon Scoring 1. And a lot of stuff comes up towards the end of Clone Wars where you're like, oh, this Fallen Order game really loves Star Wars and like makes a lot more references than I thought. That game's good. People should play it, and you should buy it on sale because we advocate for saving your money. But
Hey, it's on sale right now. The Steam sale is ongoing still, even by the time this goes up. So,
yeah, true.
You know, check that out, people.
True fact. Okay. Yeah, you could do that on our YouTube, right?
Yeah. If you want to follow us, you could follow us on social media. We're all at We Were Gamers on Facebook and Instagram and all those places. We are also, you want to email us, we're podcast at We Were Gamers. Send us your food crimes and we will take them and let you know about them.
I promise not to be as heated about email food crimes as I was about
or
IHOP.
maybe he will be more heated.
Look,
you don't know.
Look, IHOP is a multinational corporation. They can handle it. I will be nicer to anyone that emails us a food crime unless their email is at ihop.com.
Sticky bandit at ihop.com.
I just checked our email. We have more food crimes for next week.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. Live on air. I see more food crimes in our email. All right. We're getting out of here. Another game that wasn't $70 was FF12. We're going to play it. We promised to play it. I don't know when, but I appreciate everybody listening. We're having a good time. Stay safe out there. Wear your mask for everybody else. Enjoy games. Stay inside and enjoy games. It's not the worst thing in the world to say stay inside and enjoy games, right, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice. They're a nice break.
They are. Take a break from the news. Enjoy the game.
Definitely one of those things that if you start the programs in different orders, they have different opinions.
That happened. Yeah, that does happen.
$1,800, man. That's a good amount.
They had a good time.
In multiple transactions or just one?
Lots of transactions. Yeah, since July 2nd, actually.
Ooh, wow.
I didn't look at my card over the weekend.
I mean,
So
sure you.
Say that again.
Is that better?
Yeah, you're coming through good now.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what it was doing, but yeah, I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. And good to go. First rule of everything's going wrong.
I was telling Andrew that the order you plug things in and the various software have different opinions about everything.
Mhm.
Yep.
Everything's
Gotta-
magic.
Yep. Just got to do things in the same order every time.
Yeah, you got to flip that USB over twice before it'll fit in.
Before we go, I just want to throw out there, I posted Carbon Scoring 2 today.
I just saw it pop up.
Okay. And then JJ, you and I are scheduled for Friday.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And I was curious what you guys think about where you're at roughly with game playthroughs. If we want to actually do that FF12 thing where we all play it at the same time.
Oh. Yeah.
It sounded like, JJ, maybe you had come to the end of some of your RPGs, but then I didn't know what Michael was in the middle of.
I mean, I'm in the middle of of Breath of the Wild, but that'll go for as long as it goes.
Well, it'll go longer if you're in the middle of FF12 and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what your guys' thoughts were on that. I'm kind of like ready to start a big game, but
I'm into it, man. I got like part way through that game recently, and then I kind of like got bored.
The new version on Steam.
Yeah, the Zodiac Age one.
Okay.
Are you interested in that at all, Michael?
Yeah.
Should we commit to that?
I would be glad to have a reason to finally finish that game after however many years it has been since it came out, and I have never finished it.
Okay. All right. It's either that or we need to start watching Star Trek movies.
Oh yeah, that too.
We got to make good on something.
I'm also interested in that.